Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Mr. A. Welcome to the set. And tonight, we have a special guest from my part of town, my part of the city, Brooklyn. Tonight, we welcome the Magic Man, Mr. Joey Brauer, the Sheepshead Bay legend and St. Leo's alumni legend. This dude was a problem, from what I understand and from what I saw on video. I think he's probably one of the only cats that I've seen in college talk it and walk it against some really high caliber players. And he was really outmatched, to be quite honest. But the man never backed down. And when he stepped on the court, it was go time. And for me, that's a Brooklyn characteristic, you know? So we're going to have the Magic Man, the man with all the handles, Joey Brauer, coming to the set. I hope everybody is going to enjoy the show. I hope everybody will somehow get a little nostalgic about what Brooklyn was like and being in the street, because I really feel like basketball is a part of, New York City blood. Also, before we get started, let's see who's in the room. Mr. Eve Solomon, salute to you for getting in the room ahead of everybody else and taking pictures and sending it to people. I don't know how the hell you were doing that. Billy Torres, what's up, brother? I see you. Andrea, good evening. Nice to see you. Mr. Kirk, good evening. Look at, wow, this is serious. Look at what's going on here. All right, people. So I see everybody's flooding the room. I hope everybody's ready for a good time. Share some laughs, hear from Mr. Brauer, and learn a little bit of what his journey was like, his struggle, and his come up. So I see everybody's anxious. So I guess we're going to have to start the show. Here we go. Let's get it popping. Good evening. Once again, I'm your host, Mr. A. Welcome to the set. And tonight, we're bringing a very special guest from Brooklyn. I can see everybody's in the room ready to get it in. But before we do, I want to welcome our first addition to the set. So initially, when I started this show, the whole premise was based around two people, two gentlemen that we're going to share stories with the audience and bring messages from the community about regular folks and connecting everybody, because it's important. At that time, this gentleman had other obligations and responsibilities that he had to maintain. And, we all have lives and we all have things to do. So I had to, start out on my own. I didn't want to, but I did. And thankfully, tonight, that gentleman is coming to the show, and he's going to be bringing all the different characteristics that he did back in the day when we were growing up in Sunset Park, Brooklyn. So myself, Mr. A, in the set, want to welcome my brother, my compadre, my partner, Mr. Selly Sasson. Selly. Yo.
Thank you, my brother, Mr. A. This is something we spoke about. We had discussed this months ago, pre-pandemic, but due to my personal issues, like you said, I wasn't able to make this happen. But, I didn't want to commit to something I wasn't able to finish, but things are finally starting to line up, and, this finally came to fruition. Yes, I want to give a big shout out to my guys, Sam No Graham, and the I'm Not Perfect show, Bob Brooks, Champs Choose Change, my boy Speedy from Luis Jimenez show. They always, was like, yo, come to the podcast, on their shows, and, always giving me that positivity, encouragement, that this is something we can do, So, Mr. A, you held it down. You went in head first, I commend you for it, I told you when I was ready, where I would be, You know what I'm saying? Coming to the real set 6145. You know,
That's right,
so,
baby.
you know, it was a no brainer.
Well,
You know,
I'm glad you're here. I know you're going to be bringing a lot. I hope that the audience gets acclimated because my brother here has a wicked sense of humor. So I hope everybody is going to be ready for that shit.
more fire.
More funny. So now, tonight, this guest that we have coming on, right? See, it brings me back to when we were in school because, you know, we was in sports. You were playing for school. I didn't play for fucking Apicella because he was kind of a dick. But
Kind of.
yeah, that was kind of my understanding of the dude. But you know, you played on the baseball team, you played on the basketball team, and as I understand it, I believe you faced him somewhere in between there. But hopefully tonight we can bring him on and tell his story. I mean, you know, maybe give something to the people that they never knew about this gentleman before, you know, and what it was like for him to come up. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
For sure.
how were your coaches back in the day? Like, did they treat you cool and you got along with them well? Or
Well, Apicella was the baseball and basketball coach at the high school. So, you know, I was more of a baseball player. You know, that was my first love, and that's what I did. You know, I played basketball because the fellas on the block got me into it, and you know, I talked my shit and you know, carried myself that way. Like, you know, I got in people's heads and got them crazy. You know, kind of like Joey, but you know, Joey was more talented than I was. But you know, you know, Apicella, you know, he kind of shitted on me on the basketball team because he wanted me for baseball. So it was like, yeah, he took me off the JV team like in the 10th grade, and then he let me like rot, you know, in the like, yeah, I played you like 3 games, and then he benched me. Not, you know, not that I'm saying I was good, but
no,
definitely better than the guys.
Yeah. Oh, I remember that team. But
Whatever.
speaking of hoops, the whole KD, Kyrie, what the hell's going on, bro?
You know, I call Kyrie Kanye Irving. That's my
Wow.
name for him. You know, he's the Kanye Irving of b-ball.
Okay.
It's just, you know,
I respect
you know, he goes by his own, you know, his own accord, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Earth's fly, you know, I think he just likes to troll sometimes and just, but you know, I'll tell you right now, if it don't work out, you know, he might be out of there. Harden might be replacing him because KD and Harden could definitely play together.
That's think so?
Yeah.
I think Harden holds the ball too long.
But KD could get his no matter what. You know what I mean? He don't. That's why he even played with Kyrie. You know, he could get to his spots and he gonna score deliciously. You know what I'm saying?
Well, speaking of scoring and whatnot, man, I reviewed a tape of this kid Brauer. Well, he's not a kid no more. You know, we're all men or whatever. But at the time, he was a kid, and you know, just seeing him work first of all, and then second of all, seeing him going up against Alonzo with that no give a fuck attitude, I could really relate because of the guys like we played together. We used to go to Fawcett, you know, we played everywhere, and it was just like no back down.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing I could really appreciate about this dude, right?
Yeah, that's so, Brooklyn in him. So let's get him in here. Let's get shake the block.
Yeah, let's get him in here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the set, Mr. Joey Magic Man Brauer. Here he is.
What's up, fellas? How we doing?
Magic Man.
What's going on, Joey?
Everything's good. How y'all doing?
Good, maintaining, brother. Staying safe.
Yeah.
That's all we can do right now.
That's all we can do.
Staying real safe. So let's start at the beginning. So you're from Sheepshead Bay. You're an exit 19 boy?
Exit 9.
Oh, exit 9. I see.
Yeah.
A little bit. Exit 9. Okay. Okay. You born and raised there?
I was born in Brooklyn, and then we moved to New Jersey for a little bit, and we came back when I was about 5 or 6. My dad got really sick.
Oh.
My grandmother grew up in she was in the Sheepshead Nostrand houses.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when we came back, we moved to an area in Mill Basin, and my dad got really sick and ill and passed away when I was 9.
Wow. I'm sorry. Yeah, for you.
All right, that's okay. And when he passed away, we kind of moved in with my grandmother, and then we got our own apartment as well once we settled and got used to being without my father.
You said you were 9 years old when he passed?
Yeah. Yeah, I lost my dad at 9.
How did that, being a 9-year-old back in those times? Because I mean, like when we were 9, we were very aware about what was going on.
Yes.
So What was your mindset like at that time? Did you really like understand what was happening? And
No, I didn't understand
Right.
it. He passed away on April Fool's Day, so it was really mind-boggling. And
Joey, sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Was he ill, like constantly in the hospital?
No, he just he had an infection that attacked his heart.
Gotcha.
And he was a Marine, real stubborn,
Right.
tough guy. And, so it attacked him, and he passed not too much longer after that. And it was hard because I didn't go to the funeral. They didn't want to take me. I was the baby. I have two older sisters, my grandmother and mother. They didn't think it was the right thing to take me to the funeral. So I didn't get to see, that. So for many years, I always thought that, it was an April Fool's joke. That's my mind. You don't want to face reality if you didn't see it,
Right.
I just hoped that maybe he left and maybe one day he would come back,
Right.
And then, go ahead.
So I'm sorry to jump in on you.
No, go ahead.
So that happens. You go through this, was there mourning? Did you mourn? It doesn't sound like you went through any mourning or any sort of depression or this or that. That doesn't sound like you dealt with that, huh?
Now, growing up where I grew up, we were always outside playing sports with my friends. So that's the way I coped with it. As I look back now, I stayed busy playing baseball.
Keep your mind up.
Basketball, and I didn't really have time to grieve really at that age because I was always active. If I wasn't playing outside, whether it was snowing or too cold, I was in my friend's house or they were in my apartment. We were playing Atari or whatever it was.
Right.
Off basketball, whatever it was. When I think about it now, I never really had time to really sit
slow down
so much, and think about it. And my grandmother, I thank her and my sisters for keeping me busy to not really think about it. You know what I mean? As nowadays, if that happens, you're going to counseling the next morning. You know what I mean? It's different. Back then, they didn't send you to counseling.
Right. So you say you have two older sisters?
Yeah, my two older sisters and my grandma. And my mom. But my mom died 5 years after my dad.
Wow.
So she died when I was in 8th grade.
Was that sort of the same circumstances? Or
nah, she had lung cancer. And, I even was at the hospital.
Smoker?
Sloan Kettering. Yeah, she smoked. Yep, she smoked. And, I watched, I was there several times to see her, fighting for her life and stuff. So, that one I remember.
So you're 14 at the time. Now you're teenage years and
14. And it was just I always held the chip on my shoulder, to be honest. I always felt like I was robbed. I felt like, I did what did I do to not have parents? When holidays came, my sisters, my grandmother, but when I see everybody else with their families and parents, I never had that.
You go through the 5 stages of grief, and why, and bargain, like why did I deserve this, and then you finally get acceptance. Like at the end, we're like, when we get older, we get acceptance. Like, all right, things happen for a reason. Unfortunately, like we both lost. Me and Mr. A, lost our moms. Also, so it was like we went through those same kind of emotions.
For sure,
it's a tough thing. I think, especially as Sally alluded to, we both definitely lost our moms. I think that as a child losing their parent is one thing.
Yeah.
You're never ready to lose your
I always say, sorry to cut you off. No. I always say, no matter what, you always feel like an orphan when you're close to your parent, no matter what the age when they pass.
Exactly.
So
you're never really prepared. But I kind of thank God that I was older and more settled in life when my mom passed, because to deal with that, I couldn't, you know what I mean? I couldn't really relate. But I just feel like losing a parent as a child is just, that's crazy. So you said chip on your shoulder, right? Mm-hmm. And I understand the dynamic now. The family dynamic is abuela, which is grandma, and your two older sisters, right? So
were your sisters athletic?
Yeah, both sisters were athletic. One played in college. She played at West Virginia Wesleyan. She was basically, she pushed me. She pushed me really hard.
So she was the fire.
Very hard.
She was the fire to push you into sports?
Yeah, well, she didn't put me into sports, but she gave me the drive to work harder in school academically so that I could thrive in basketball and baseball. Because my first 2 years of high school, my grades weren't too good. I was undersized. I was small. I played JV baseball. I did well my freshman year. And then my sophomore year, I didn't play either sport. I just, I was small. And then I shot up after my sophomore year. From my sophomore year to my junior year, I became the starter at Sheepshead, captain with 2 other guys that were seniors. And that's when my sister said, hey, if you get your grades up, you have a chance to get a scholarship. So that's when I said, you know what? And then I really started pushing and just working extra hard. She pushed me. My grandmother was tough on me. My other sister was tough on me. I mean, it was tough love. Still is to this day. I'm still the baby. I'll be 50 next month, but I'm still Joey or Joseph when I'm in trouble. So,
right.
Some things don't change.
Sully, is it me? I don't really, no funny shit. I don't really understand or know a time where names were ringing bells for basketball out of Sheepshead Bay. Is it me? Or, you used to hearing, Bed-Stuy, Coney Island. You know what I'm saying? I've never, were there big players that came out of Sheepshead Bay or known, hoopers?
Probably before Joey's time, because I don't really remember any back then.
Joey, did you know?
Yeah, there were some good players. I mean, I've heard from my high school coach. He's been there. He's still there, even though it's turned into a charter school. And I mean, he's been there over 30 years. One guy named Jeff Thomas, he was from Brownsville.
Okay.
My coach said probably you and him were neck and neck as probably the two of the best players or whatever. And then there's, kids that. There was a kid who played with me that was very good. His name's Shaquan McNatt. He was very good. I don't know how much he played after I left. I think he had some eligibility issues, but as far as talent-wise, he was very good.
Wasn't there Tony Harris or something like that?
Tony Harris is from my projects. Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know if he ever played at Sheepshead or he went to Lincoln. I'm not sure, but that's my guy. Yeah.
Right.
Was he nice though?
He's like a playground legend from my neighborhood. He was really good.
Oh, so we know a lot of those guys that never played on school teams that were like,
that's my
this
man.
guy's great.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider Lincoln or another school before you went to Sheepshead?
No, because when I went to Sheepshead, I was I wanted to be that dude right there. You know what I mean? And I knew going in that in my junior year I was going to be the star.
Right.
And because Hartstein always said he wished he had me playing in the backcourt with Juju. Norman Marbury, he would tell one of my mentors, because you always got 1 or 2 older guys that follow you around, especially when I didn't have a father. They would take me to all my tryouts and all my, when I went to Wheelchair Classic tryouts or every league I played in, because I didn't have a car. I was a kid. I was 17, 16,
Real quick, when Juju, Norman Marbury, for those that don't know, that's Stephon Marbury's brother.
Right.
He came to Fort Hamilton, right? So he's playing against us, and a good friend of ours, Dennis Bruno's, playing the point guard for Dennis Bruno. Yeah. So so Juju's coming down, and he's got his high little, So I told my man, like, yo, he got that high, get in, you're shorter than him, get underneath him, He hit him with the bum 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 bum. We just he was like, yo, don't tell me to do that again. It was funny, like, yo, he just cut him up. But we stunk. So.
He did the Energizer Bunny on him.
Yeah, you remember that? Oh man, he left him like mesmerized.
So Joey, at what point do you decide that you're gonna pursue, athletics, like trying to take it to that next level? Because I know running a schedule for a high school team is grueling. You got practice, drills and so on and so on, and trying to stay healthy, trying to stay away from injury, At what point in your mind did you say to yourself, yo, you know what? I think I'm strong enough and my talent is that sharp that I can take this to the next level?
I would say after my junior year, because I was going into my junior year, I got the starting job as the point guard, and I had 2 bigs that were really good. Mm-hmm. So when they came and when I came in and ran the show with them, averaged like 17 and like 10 assists, and they did their thing, and they left. When they left, I started hearing a lot of people, barking in my ears, hey, you go to Sheepshead. You're not going to win a lot of games because you got Lincoln, you got Grady, the best team in the city that year.
Our division was stacked.
It was stacked. They said you have to put up big numbers. You got to score. So the first 3 games of my senior year, I think I put up like 110 points. I was averaging like 37 and a half. And then all the colleges started coming. I mean, all out east, all the D2 schools, mid D1s. I was real small when I came out. I was 6 foot 145, real fragile, real small. So if I would have went D1, like mid D1, I probably would have had to work my way and get stronger and become a starter maybe by my sophomore, junior year. I said, I want to go somewhere where I'm going to be the man right away. I want to play 4 years, you know. Right. If you do work, go overseas, whatever, no big deal. You know, all my boys like, yo, you going to the NBA. And I'm thinking, they don't know how hard it is. The NBA, people don't know. So they think because you're nice that you're NBA, but the NBA is
that's a whole new level. The league's a whole nother level. You know that. Yeah. Joey, taking it back real quick. Taking it back, growing up in the PJs, right? You grew up in Sheepshead Bay. Yes. Now you lost your parents, like you said, at a young age.
Yes, sir.
Was it like a financial burden of like, you know what, I'm gonna have to leave the sports and go work, or was there any like, you know, street people coming at you like, yo, you know how this, you gotta crack rock. You know, did anybody ever come at you that way? Like,
I always had mentors outside of the projects that would always, you know, take care of me if I needed it. But I delivered the daily news every morning. I was blessed to be given a paper out by a good friend of mine. I'm gonna give him a shout out, named Jeff Broom from my projects. He gave me his paper out when I was going into 11th grade. So I delivered 80 daily news newspapers Monday through Saturday, from Saturday, Monday to Saturday, and then Sundays I had 120. Now my grandma, she was my life, she was my world. You know, I miss her more than anything in this world. But she would insert the comics, the Brooklyn section. She did all that for me, and then I would go and deliver them on Sundays. It was a fantastic thing. Right. She was on a fixed income, you know. She was on Social Security.
Yeah.
So anything that I could help by myself stuff, I wanted to help her out. You know what I mean? Sure. And my sisters always gave too. You know, that I'm not gonna ever say they did. They did a lot, but I wanted to learn responsibility. A lot of these kids these days, they don't do that. They don't work. They don't have the work ethic. No. You know. And that's why I'm on here as well. I want people to know that you have to work hard for everything that you get in life. I was undersized. I was always the smallest on the court. That didn't defeat me. In baseball, you know, like I said, I played baseball only my senior year. But when I played it, I knew baseball. I dominated baseball in Little League, Kings Bay. But if I wasn't pitching, the ball don't come to you all the time. See, as a point guard, you're always in control of the game. I want to have that ball and I want to do it.
Yeah. Joey's killing me.
Pitch once a week.
Joey's killing me right now. You know why, Joey? Because I keep hearing you making references to being small, right?
Yeah.
He keeps saying, you know, I was small. You know, I was a little dude. You're the same height as me, but in relative to the sport, like when you're speaking to the sport, 6 feet is like you're a cockroach compared to these guys that are natural.
You know, my team 6'8".
6'5", 6'8". They're like Jolly Green Giants walking around. When you see them on TV, you don't really know how big those guys are. Like they look small in comparison, but then you find out the point guard is like 6'6".
Right.
Like so now you feel like, you know, you got to go all the way out. It's your junior year. You're dropping 30 in the first. You know, you're averaging 30 in the first 3 games, right?
Right. My first 3 games, my senior year, I averaged like 37. I had 110, and then kept scoring. Got player of the week a few times. I shared the honor with Jamal Mashburn, Khalid Reeves. I mean, all guys that went big time D1. So
the colleges are coming to see you because you're making a lot of noise, right? Boom, senior year comes. Is your plan set in stone to where you're going, or you're still like up in the air?
Nah, I went to 5-star basketball camp going into my senior year. You know, still trying to, you know, make a name for myself before I, you know, started scoring all those points. I scored all those points my senior year. So going into my senior year, you know, I wanted to go to camp, work hard, do all that. And then when I started the beginning of the season of my senior year and I put up those numbers, then all the letters started coming in from all the D2s and, you know, D1s like Siena, Marist, you know, mid-level D1.
Right. Wow. Well, if you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner, Sally Sassoon. This is The Set, and we talking to the magic man, Mr. Handles, Mr. Shake You Out Your Boots, Joey
Mr.
Brauer.
Your cheerleaders, Mr.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
yo,
that one.
what
Hold on,
happened?
little, you know?
What's going on?
So,
yo, hit the subscribe, peoples. Hit the subscribe. Hit them
listen.
like buttons.
Yeah, we got to
Thank you
get
for
you
the
people.
support.
You have to support us. You know, this is a Brooklyn thing. Me and my brother trying to make real things happen. And these are the stories we want to bring to y'all. So if you could like, subscribe, go to our YouTube, subscribe there, and just show some support. So now your senior year is coming to an end. Everything is moving. Now you get your vision or understanding of where you want to go. You go through your basketball camps and that.
Right.
In between that, and Sally's going to be able to attest to this, because when you play for a team and you're really playing in an organized sport, you love it to death, right? So it don't really matter if you're playing in the school or you're playing in the street. Do you have any stories of going to like West 4th or Rucker and dealing with some people that, you know, from our time were big names?
Yeah.
Joey, before you answer that, I'm sorry, before you answer that real quick, I want to ask you, like, our high school, like I said, in our division, I think she said Bay was in our basketball division, but they wasn't in the baseball bracket.
Right. Nah, we weren't.
What, like, who were your toughest? Like, who would you say, like, these guys, you know, they belong in the league or whatever, like, you know, toughest opponents in the high school? Because I remember, like, you know, FDR for Hamilton, we was kind of like the cinder, you know, cupcake cities. And then like Chief said Bay, New York were kind of like middle, you know, New York had, you know, the kid Nooney, Johnny Burkett, you know, my man Kareem Lewis. You know what I mean? They ended up having a nice little squad at one point. And then you had the Grady's, the Lincolns, you know, obviously the powerhouses. Like, who would you say, like, you know, those teams are like, this guy belongs in the league?
There was a few of who I played against. I mean, there was a bunch. I don't know about the league. The only one I could say that I felt like was NBA material was Norman Marbury. I just was like, whoa. And we're the same age, but I was just like, oh, this dude, you know, I was never intimidated by him, but he was just a dude that I was like, yo, this dude gets up.
He was the truth.
Out the gym. He just didn't play hard all the time. If he had the work ethic like Stephon had, he would have went to the league as well, you know? But also kid from Grady, Ephraim Whitehead.
I remember.
He was nice. He went to Duquesne. He was real good, 6'5", point guard. And then there was some younger than me, like fresh, Maurice Brown, who went to St. John's. Lamont Jones was really good at Brooklyn Tech. I mean, there's a bunch. Kwame, my roommate at Clarion, because that's where I ended up going my first year. He went to Lafayette, great shooter, one of the best shooters, the best shooter I ever been on the court with or seen personally.
Kwame from Lafayette?
Yes.
Yeah, I was in Lafayette half a semester, and then I got homesick and left. I went to Fort with my boys.
We'll talk about homesick at Clarion in a few.
Yeah, that wasn't a good look, right? So
nah, man.
Familiar territory.
Everybody's going. My boys, all the girls from the neighborhoods taking the train this way, and I'm going that way to school. I was like, nah, I got to get out of here. But back to Mr. A's question about the street ball. Did you dabble in that at all, like the West 4th?
I played. Me and my boys would go sometimes to different like projects and play. Remember, we went down. I think it was like Marcy Project somewhere. It was a project. Me and my high school team. I was a junior. Went down there. I think Booger Smith was there. He was young.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was young. I mean, it was no problem for me. I was older. He wasn't that kid yet. So when I see all the stuff he's done since, I'm like,
Booger from Westinghouse, right?
Yeah, he went to Westinghouse. Yeah, but played against him. Played against many dudes. I don't know if you know the guy. He did a lot. He's like a big street legend. Blackjack, Jackie Ryan.
I was gonna name him. Yeah,
sure. He's big time. Jackie Ryan's a playground legend.
Yes.
I used to play against him. He was older than me. He's like 10 years older than me. I was like 18. He was 28. And I'll tell you a story. I'd play against him at Manhattan Beach. And this guy, suntan, he was like a ladies' lover back then. He always was. Pull out, but he had no teeth. He would have false teeth. He would take them out and still drop 40 on him.
Yeah.
Like, yo.
And laugh at you. Gummy bear.
Laugh at you and take your girl.
Wow.
Well, I don't know about that.
I remember at Fort Hamilton, we played Tech. And R.I.P. Conrad McRae came. Oh my God. My coach had to tell the coach, like, because we had the wooden backboard. We didn't have no fiberglass, nothing. my coach had to tell Apicella had to tell him like, yo, please take this guy out. He's gonna break our rims.
Right,
We're gonna have a season because he was just like dunk fest on us.
Yeah, right, was the man. Yeah.
Puerto Ricans playing him.
I gotta say something about that. Yo, Bernard King and all the King brothers.
Oh, yeah.
I hope y'all catch hangnail in every fucking last toe. Y'all went to the fucking fort. Y'all was promising backboards forever. And it never came.
I seen the video. They finally had them up. I was like, oh, they finally got fiberglass.
I bet you didn't come from the King brothers. They went to school there, whatever. They were whatever. It was trash. But, anyway, so how do you come to make the decision to where you ultimately first start your college career?
Okay. Well, I ended up signing with Clarion. They were recruiting a bunch of us. They were recruiting a kid from Grady, James Hector, who was real good. He was the player of the year in Brooklyn. But then he ended up going to American International. So me and Kwame went on a visit there, you know, and it was like a package deal. They took us both.
Clarion is D2?
Yeah, D2.
Good and it's in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, Slippery Rock, Lock Haven, Edinburgh, real good conference. So I went there. Me and Kwame signed to go. We were the only two kids from New York. Everyone else there was from like Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh, all that area.
Right.
So, you know, I went there and decision wasn't hard because I had someone coming with me from Brooklyn. Okay. Yeah. But it didn't last. I only stayed there till January. What happened was my sisters called me in October, November and told me that now that you got out, you know, of the projects, Nanny did her job. That's my grandmother. We're going to move her to Florida. And that had me like a little stunned because I always wanted to be able to go back to my friends in Brooklyn.
Right. So how far was Clarion from Brooklyn?
About 5.5 hours.
5 6 hours drive.
Yeah, Interstate 80 all the way up.
Yeah, PA could be long.
It was far. I mean, you passed Penn State. It was way up there.
Okay.
But I got homesick because back then, you know, just to talk to them, this and that, it was expensive. It wasn't like now where you have to pay to make these calls. And I just got homesick. I won't lie. I left in January. I signed out. They didn't want me to. They didn't want me to. My grandmother and all that. They said, if you come home, you better be in college, you know, by the end of the school year, back somewhere else. They weren't even thinking basketball. They just wanted me to get an education.
Right.
So I said, nah, it's going to be more than that. I'm going to play ball somewhere. I promise. I promise. See, I wasn't blessed either with, we didn't have YouTube and all that. You know what I mean?
It's way different now.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? If nobody even knew where I was when I left Clarion. So when I left Clarion and went down to my sister down in Palm Beach, I said, can you drive me to Palm Beach Community College? Maybe I could play and just run with the team. Not go to school there. So I never wanted to go JUCO. I wanted to play in a 4-year school. That was never an option.
Right.
Joey, going back to Clarion.
Yeah.
So you said, you know, they moved down to Florida.
Right.
So you saying you're homesick. Was it depression also? Looking back on it now, do you feel like it was depression, anxiety, anything else? Like
I might have been depressed because I knew I didn't have a home back in Brooklyn anymore. Right. And then homesick because they're all there. And you got to remember, I lost my parents. So now I'm suffering separation anxiety again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. It's got
you know, all that.
Look at it, when we're older, like I said, when my mom, we all went through it. And you look at it now, I'm like, yeah, I was definitely depressed.
I didn't get out the bed for a week at Clarion. I would get out the bed and I was like dizzy. I didn't know what was going on.
Right.
That's how bad it was.
Right.
And I played the first 6 games. I started and everything. I was starting as a freshman. And I was like, whoa, this is too much. So I went home and then, you know, she took me to Palm Beach and I started running with the team. And their coach, got to give him props. His name's Scott Pospical. Mm-hmm. He played at Florida Southern, which is in the Sunshine State Conference, where I ended up going, but not there. I went to St. Leo. But he sent my high school tape. You should probably see my high school tape on YouTube. My sister made those games. She had my sister's camcorder when my sister came in town from Minnesota for like 5 or 6 games my senior year and some for my junior year during a Christmas tournament, and put that together. And that's what we sent out to colleges. Since Sheepshead didn't have a big name, you had to kind of promote yourself.
Yeah.
My sister did a lot for me.
I got picked up. Even us for Hamilton, we won the high school championship '89.
I know.
Whatever. We played to '91, you know, whatever. We were, you know, always in the mix. But I got picked to college through my mans that were in the school. You know, like they plugged me in, like, coach, grab this kid. He's got nowhere to go. And that's that's how. So I know exactly what you're talking about as far as like no recruitment.
Yeah.
Joey, let me ask you a question, because it sounds like, and maybe it's me, I don't know if the audience has caught that as you're telling your story, but so you're at Clarion, they're gonna move Abuelita down to Florida. They do that. You start the realization of your anchor, because to me, what I'm hearing from you is your loss of your parents, your grandmother became the anchor of your basically of your life.
The rock
And
of
your
the
sister,
family.
she was the rock.
Sure.
So now she's away from you down in Florida, and you're like, yo, I'm not doing that. And you head down there. It sounds almost to me like you told your sister to drive you to this college, and you just walked on and was like, yeah, I'm here to hoop type thing. I mean, how did that unfold?
She just brought me to the gym, and I just started playing pickup games, and the coach was there, and I just, told
without being a student?
No, not a student, just going into the gym after school when they were running.
People, if you're just joining the show, I'm your host, Mr. A, with my partner, Sally Sasson, talking to the legend, the magic man. What was it, sir? Mr. Steal Your Cheerleader?
Mr. Steal Your Cheerleader, The Matrix, White Chocolate, the original White Chocolate, before Jason Williams. I could vouch for my man right there.
Mr. Joey Brauer. And he just
hit them likes, please. Subscribe.
Yes, he just clarified for me that he left his college, ends up in Florida, has a sister bring him to one of the local colleges, and walks on the court. And that's basically him introducing himself to this school and drawing that. Listen, man, you got to be a serious hooper to do something like that. And what did you start doing to these guys that really made you stand out from the pack?
And what was different from the New York ballers to the Florida ballers?
The Florida ballers, I mean, they didn't have that flair, to be honest. You know what I mean? They see me talking, and I didn't talk there because I was just trying to get back in school. You know what I mean? I was just there playing. I needed that coach to be like, yo, he could play. So I had to zip it, which is not my game. I usually talk. I talk when I dribble. I talk everything. I talk when I sleep, probably. But I had to bite that for a week or two until he saw what I can do. He wanted me to come to his junior college, and I was like, nah, I want to, I promised my grandmother that I'm going to get back to a 4-year school. So he said, hey, I'm going to send your tape to Florida. I know Florida Southern, University of Tampa, and St. Leo. So he reached out to all of them. St. Leo brought me right up, and I went there, and their point guard at the time tore his ACL or something, or tore his knee or something. And they told me, it's your show. So they weren't that good. I'm not going to lie. We were big, but the team hasn't been winning.
And St. Leo's is in Tampa?
It's just about 20 miles north of Tampa.
Okay.
Real close. So I just wanted to get in school and get a scholarship and get my degree. And if I ball, it don't matter where I play, I'm going to be seen. You know what I mean? At that time, that's how I felt.
So this cat, Joey, I'm listening to the story now, right? I've never heard your story before. I watched a bit of tape. Me and Sully spoke, but hearing this story and you tell it, damn, I'm almost sorry I didn't get to see you hoop, because to go through all these sort of changes and blindly walk onto a court, your talent, must have definitely superseded your appearance of, like, quote unquote, being small. And this school, St. Leo's, came, they picked you up, they gave you a full ride?
Yeah, I got a full ride. I had 3 years left to play, because even though I only played 6 games at Clarion.
Eligibility.
I lost that year because I played in more than 20% or whatever.
Gotcha.
Wow. How long did it take for your team to start actually, because it sounds like, again, of course, in your position, you're the lead of the team.
Right.
How long did it take for you guys to start meshing?
They had one kid, his name was Tyrone Graves, was a senior when I came in as a sophomore. And besides him, we had a big front line, 6'10", 6'8", 6'7". They were big. But to me, I was like, yo, this is my show. I do what I want here. So I came in and I ran the show, and I had Tyrone in the backcourt with me, and it was our show. But to show you what's crazy is after that year, my coaches got fired. Okay?
Oh.
They got fired. So then my junior year comes, I get an older coach, plays different style, but I still have to adapt to it, still do everything. And then after that year, he gets fired. And then going to my senior year, I got a new coach who's really good.
Another system.
Yeah, but to be a freshman 4 years in a row, That's crazy. I was a freshman.
Did you ever consider transferring when these guys like lost their jobs? You just wanted to stay
I already left Clarion, so I was like, I don't care who comes in here.
Right.
Whatever system they run,
this is my program.
I led the conference in assists every year. It don't matter who the coach was, and steals.
See, that's the thing.
God.
I'm sorry, Sal. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
That's the thing. What I'm hearing overall. See, and I think the audience is getting that message too. So Joey went through so many trials and tribulations in his journey of basketball, but I think the passion remained, from when it started up until the point that we're reaching now. He's in St. Leo's. But the one thing that keeps ringing true, and Sally, there's another thing you could attest to, is that as each trial comes and each obstacle hits him, it doesn't really look like it fazed him any, because from such a young age in his story, like in your story, I hear you're going through things. So it's building your character, so to speak, right?
Right.
And now you're in St. Leo's, and these, first the coach getting you like, everything is good. This is my show. And then he gets fired. They bring another coach, and then he gets fired, and then they bring it. That's a lot of stress to deal with, right?
It's a lot of change, constant change you have to deal with.
Right.
But it sounds like, again,
but you coped with it. You dealt with it. Like, you handled it. As a Caucasian man playing the game, like, was there animosity towards you? Was there, maybe you had to go extra hard because it's,
there's going to be two sides. There's going to be a side like, yo, you get more props because you're Caucasian. Then there's going to be other people that are like, nah, why are you giving them this? Or why are you giving them that?
Good. He's just, whatever.
I mean, when we went to Canarsie High School, I'll tell you a story. My senior year, went to Canarsie. I took 13 shots, probably the lowest amount of shots I took, because, it was my show. I averaged 28 my senior year. So I took 13 shots and had 27 points. I was 9 for 13, hit some threes. And we lost by a few points. And as soon as the game ended, these dudes came on the court from the Brookline Projects right across the street. It's real rough over there.
Yeah, I know.
Winter time, so everybody's wearing sheepskins and gooses. And I'm like, we're going to kill you outside, Billy Idol, and this and that. I was like, man, at least call me Vanilla Ice.
Yeah.
Like Billy Idol had a high flat top. I didn't have
we had the Chris Mullen.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? So they had to escort me and my coach. My coach always drove me to the games. Most of the time I went with him. So when they had to escort me out to his car, I couldn't even get on the bus to go home because they would have got me out there. Right. The time we went to the projects, when we went down some tunnel to play, I was in 11th grade, and I was like 8 for 8 from the field, and there was a dude in there. I was young, and I'm going in there, only white dude in the building, which I was used to, and I loved it. I talked to everyone. Anywhere I went, anybody will tell you. I was doing it. I was talking. I was, but I backed it up. That was my edge. Being small, I had to have something that gave me my edge, and it was talking. Right. So if somebody talked with me, I did better. If they ignored me, it would eat at me, and I would have to try to get under their skin. If you ignore me, I'm gonna still do work, but it ain't gonna be as you
want to get them out of their game,
personal on the court.
You want to get them out of their game and talk them out.
So when we would go to these areas, I would just always, whether it's white or black, it didn't matter. It was just, there's always going to be people that are haters. Even in my own hood, there's haters, till this day.
For the game.
They're always going to say, this guy's better, that guy. You know what I mean? Come on. That's just how it works,
So now we're at this point, it seems like now the picture's coming into full scope, right? These coaches change over. You're still doing your thing. What changes? Do you graduate or do you get an offer somewhere, or what's the next thing to happen at St. Leo's?
Yeah, I graduated on time. Had an offer to go to Israel because I'm half Jewish. So I was a Jewish All-American in high school, Jewish All-American in college. So I had an agent. His name was Mitchell Smith, a rabbi out in Pensacola. He reached out to me. And they wanted me to sign to go out there. And my sister took me down to the post office, got my passport 2 weeks before I'm about to go. I didn't do it. I was scared.
You were scared to leave the country?
Homesick again?
I started thinking, hey, if I couldn't be in Clarion and being that close to Florida, how the heck am I gonna go to Israel?
Right.
Which back then, no cell phones in '94. You know what I mean? How am I going to contact and be in touch with my grandmother every day if I need her? You know, so I was homesick.
Yeah.
You know, but no regrets. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that was going to be the next question. Go ahead.
Going back to St. Leo's.
Uh-huh.
That schedule. All right. I know you had Georgetown on that schedule, right?
Mm.
I want to hear about the Georgetown. What are you feeling? You playing Georgetown? You see Big John Thompson, rest in peace, with the towel.
Yes, sir.
You're warming up.
It was
you know, Alonzo Mourning. You know,
it was great.
Did you play Iverson too, or no? Or that was after.
Yeah, he came, I saw him play the next year. He played them after I graduated.
Okay, so you played Mourning. Othello Harrington followed him.
Yeah.
So you facing these guys.
They had some good guards too, Churchwell and Joey Brown, Irvin Church. They had some really good players. So you
got the bubble guts. Like, what's going on before the game?
Nah, I'm gonna tell you, my man Tyrone, who was a senior.
You're doing the 8 Mile. You're throwing up in spaghetti.
I ain't gonna put Tyrone under the bus, but
man.
All right, so we're warming up.
If he's on the chat, throw him under the bus.
Well, let me see. Where's Tyrone?
This is my chance for my people in Brooklyn to see me, because you know there's no internet or anything then. But you know, highlights on ESPN and stuff. So I'm gonna do my thing here. So we're warming up, and I'm hyped. My man Tyrone in the locker room throwing up. I'm like, come on, man.
You better call Tyrone.
Like, yo, I live for this. So, you know.
Where's he from? From Florida?
He's from Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yeah, he's from Georgetown, small town. But he was nice. I ain't gonna lie. He's a good ball player. But, you know, maybe that's the way he dealt with it.
Yeah, people do it.
Hey, I like the big lights. We're from New York. I want the more the merrier. Bring more fans. Bring everybody.
You know, me out. Get me going.
So about 6 minutes into the game, I think you see the highlight where I take it and Lonzo fouls me. And as soon as he fouls me, I said, "In one," and I start talking trash to him. He grabs his boys. I don't know what he says, but he started throwing everybody. He didn't throw my shot.
Throwing them balls?
He didn't throw my shot, but he was throwing everybody's shot after that.
Was he strong back then?
His one calf was bigger than my thigh.
Wow.
That just shows you how big these dudes are.
But see what I was saying earlier about players.
I was waiting to say this. Crazy.
Wow.
And he wasn't even that big yet. He was still in college. He got a lot bigger in the NBA.
Wow. He looks like a stilt. Like he doesn't even look like he's holding that much weight.
See, like my take, like Joey, you went to a D2.
Right.
You know, certain guys go to D1. You know, people have a misconstruction about college players. There's not a lot of people that play college ball, even if it's JUCO, D3,
right.
D2, you know, basketball, baseball, sports in general. Like there's like 7%. I seen the stat the other day, I forgot what it was, but it's not a lot. Right. And to me, the difference of a D1 and a D2 is not really a lot. Like maybe grades, you know, maybe some recruitment stuff.
I would say it's you see the difference in the big men. You know what I mean?
The big man.
When it comes to guards, I mean, unless you're the big time,
if you watch your videos, I think your game translates to today's game still. Like you could score in the 3 levels. You know, you could hit from the top, you could score mid range, and you could hit your layups.
Right.
That's my opinion on, you know, I'm not a scout. I never, you know, I watch sports. I played sports.
Right.
I feel you can, you know, your game translates to now, like to certain players that, you know, oh yeah, he could play now. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you was younger and, you know, if somebody had your game, they could play your game and be like in the next level.
Yeah, his skill set is conducive to today's game.
I love this game, man. It's wide open. Mm-hmm. When I was coming out, you know, I look at it right now, and a lot of the guys I played with,
big man shooting threes.
Yeah, I mean the NBA game. I mean, I would love to play it on this level now. You know what I mean? Right. I mean, you always hear sometimes you're ahead of your time or this and that.
We have all heard that, man.
I mean, if they had YouTube and all that, I mean, I was doing it in once. I was dribbling off my knee. Nobody knew. When I went to
we were being in a lot of trouble too for some of the stuff we did.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. See?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So Joey, you turned down Israel.
Uh-huh.
What is your mindset like? Like, what do you think to yourself? Like, okay, I'm not gonna go to Israel. What's the next move? Like, are you just gonna be regular Joe 9 to 5? I'm gonna find myself a nice little career with my degree.
Right.
You know, I'm not gonna play ball no more. Or do you try to set yourself up to a point where you can still hold on to your love of the game while earning a living?
I was still playing until about 27, 28 at a high level. But I just never there was no leagues back. You know what I mean?
Was it financially, like getting paid, like a semi-pro type, or it was just like for fun, like catch and
No,
rest?
I was just playing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I wasn't playing no leagues like that. I
Right.
was working. I started getting into teaching. I had my degree. You know, I'm not one of them guys that's gonna hang around the game if I'm not gonna pursue going somewhere with
Right.
it. I did it. It did everything for me. It paid my college. It's paying it's paying me right now. I'm a PE teacher. I got a lot going on with the game, and it's always paid me back. I mean, if it wasn't for basketball, I don't know where I'd be today, to be honest.
How fulfilling is it for you?
And you pay it forward. You pay it forward. So
well, yeah, but that's the point. Like right now, you're a PE teacher, right?
Yes.
So how fulfilling is that for you in working with kids in physical education? And not only that, you know, I understand you train kids to play ball. So, you know, do you still get that sense of satisfaction when you're training these kids?
Yeah, I look at it as when I was playing, because I would go out in my neighborhood like 7 a.m. I mean, living in the projects, not many kids were coming out like me. They all stayed in, and you know, they were going out and at night, and I was always outside playing. You know, so I was basically just out there working hard and you know,
getting it in.
Getting it in.
So in this conversation that we're speaking about, I'm looking in the chat. Listen, salute to everybody that's watching the show. Mr. A from the set, my partner Sully Sasson.
Questions for us, right?
To the Magic Man, Brooklyn's own Joey Brauer. And I looked over in the chat and it says he's as good as a coach as he was a player. My daughter has improved so much.
Awesome.
That, you know, that speaks volumes.
Let me tell you about that guy. That's Jose Ramos is his name. And we reconnected. That's the gift about Facebook. Me and him lived in the same, we were connected, our buildings and the projects. But I lost touch. You know, you lose touch when you move on. I went to Clarion, then I went to Florida. Well, he lives right here, 20 minutes from me. We reconnected years ago on Facebook. So when I started training kids, he told me his daughter played. So I've been training her for about a year now. She's a junior in high school. She's doing real well. And it's crazy how everything comes back full circle, man.
That's crazy. Awesome. Like paying it forward, like, you know,
yeah.
when you know, my kids don't love it. You know, they played a little, you know, baseball. I coached a little bit. But you know, I'm a big mush with them, man. I'm like, you know, when the kids, I see all their improvement.
Thanks, Jay.
I'm like, wow, man, like I'm helping this kid improve, and you know, they're a sponge, they're learning, and they're just nonstop, just, you know, picking up what we teach them, and it's a great feeling, man. It's better than playing.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. People always say, "Do you ever have regret?" No, I still play in leagues. Right. I still play and still drop 50.
Did you ever play? I know Florida, you know, it's a lot of ballers. Did you ever play NBA guys? That, you know, like in those pickup games?
I don't know if you ever heard of Chucky Atkins. He played in
sure.
Yeah, Chucky's probably
the Pistons, right? Was he Pistons?
Played for the Magic.
Magic. Journeyman type.
Yeah, played against him.
He's journeyman in the NBA, but how was he in the killer? He's a killer, right?
That's what people don't understand. This dude was a backup. He started some, but he's just so quick, and people don't understand. That's why I'm saying
that young, like what's the dude, Chris Dudley or whatever. We used to be like, yo, he'll bust all our asses. He's a bum, you know.
Chris Dudley looked like he weighed like 90 pounds wet.
Yeah, man. He had a job. He did something right.
Yeah, he definitely did. So now you move on. You have this career. What else do you think at this time, like now where you're at in life?
All right, I'm gonna tell you, I was lost. I was lost for a while, and then I would say between when I graduated, I was 23 when I graduated college. Kept playing ball. You know, I was going out, partying, and you know, I didn't party in college. I was focused on the game my whole life. You know, when I graduated, I was like, yo, this is over. Let me enjoy myself a little bit.
Right,
enjoying myself, still working and doing everything. And then, you know, I met my daughter's mother, and we got married, and Cameron was born when I was 30. That changed my life. That put everything, and that made me a man. I mean,
for sure.
If Cameron wasn't born, I don't know where I would be today, or if I would be.
It settled you down.
Settled me down and made me become a man, be more responsible, and not, you know, just be selfish.
Right.
You know, not saying I'm a selfish person, but when you have a kid, it's all about
a lot of times when we in sports, a lot of times we are selfish, you know, and then we go through stuff like that. You
Thanks,
know, my
Johnny.
son was, I had my first child, but my first child was also born with CP. So it was like, all right, I have a child now, and then it's like, you know, he's special needs, and this is forever. You know what I mean? Like he's counting on everything for us, you know, on us, you know. So I know what you're saying, because it definitely, I was lost too. Like I said, you know, I lost my mom's. I was going wilding out, you know, whatever, and then it was like, oh,
that's
like,
it.
This is reality now. You know, like, you know, either you don't give a fuck, or you're gonna take care of them.
Do the right thing. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's
then
crazy because I'm sorry to cut you off, Joe.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, like, again, I'm listening to the story. I'm getting, you know, kind of washed away in the story. And again, having a child at 30 years old, like, I think for you in your maturity level throughout life, and, you know, sports and developing as a student and actually graduating and moving on and taking all of these steps. I mean, I don't really think that having a child at a younger age would have helped you any, right? No. And I think all these things that you had going on through your life, they sort of like fell into place, like at the right time when you needed them.
Yeah.
Because, like, you say you had your daughter and you're like, it changed me, it made me a man. Yeah. And do you think you would have received and understood what having a child means or meant at like 22?
No, I would have been in trouble. I would have been in trouble. It would have ruined everything. And I mean, I don't say that in a bad way, but
no, it's facts. You know,
everything that I worked for would have went down the drain, which happens to a lot of kids. That's why I went into education, is to tell the kids my story and to make sure to let them know that, hey, you don't have it so bad. I grew up without a mom, without a dad. I lost my grandmother when I was, after I got married. She passed when Cameron was 2 when I was 32. So I've always lost. Right. You know, I might have won on the court, I might win here, win there, but I've always lost things close to me. You know, and then, I mean, my marriage ended. I mean, not ashamed to say it ended. You know, and things happen, but you got to do what's best for my child, you know, and it wasn't meant to be, but she gave me a beautiful blessing, and I was able to, you know, fortunate enough to raise my daughter, you know, basically as a single parent, or I had full custody, that was important, and I don't know what would have happened to me if I didn't have that, because in my situation, I've always lost. So now, if I would have lost my daughter, like most men do, at least, you know, or you get her every other weekend or whatever it may be.
Right, sure.
That could have been tough on me. You know, so I'd say the man upstairs has a plan for everything.
And that is something that needs to be commended, because, you know, men do get shitted on, and they do it to themselves, as far as like not taking care of the kids and not being around. And you went full circle, and, you know, she's coming with me, and I got this.
Everything I've done, since the day she was born was for her. Everything. I mean, to this day, she's 20, but I'm finally kind of loosening up and moving a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. And I think the reason why I'm like that is because of me always losing.
Right.
I don't want her to ever lose me, because I know what it was like not to have. So I'm gonna always be there, you know? Always. Joey. Sometimes I'm a little bit too much, but I hope she understands it. She's watching. Yeah. She's at my sister's house, so she's watching. You hear me?
I want to ask you this, because I think, you know, both you and Sally brought up something direly important about being a father. And I don't mean about getting a woman pregnant. I mean about actually being a father, being there for your children. You know, hearing you speak about your daughter and the transition that you guys went through, you know, through the divorce and you gaining custody. You can hear, Sally, if I'm wrong, correct me. You hear Joey in his voice, like his daughter's, the sun rises and sets with her, right? And it's crazy to me. Yeah, it's crazy to me that there are men and even women in this world that have children and they abandon them. I have a child with this woman, but I act like he or she doesn't exist.
Your daughter, and like you said, if she's watching, she's gonna know her worth from the man that you are raising her. The way you raised her. She's gonna know her worth.
She's not gonna accept anything outside of the example that you, her father, set for her. And that's exactly where I was. This guy be reading my mind. That's exactly where I was getting.
That's why we're here,
she's
Pa.
gonna go. What?
That's why we're here, Pa.
Yeah, that's it. She's gonna go into the world with a straight understanding of what she wants in a partner, right? And she will not accept anything less short of what you have demonstrated to her. And the reason I'm really speaking about this is because we as men, especially with daughters, we have to set the fucking tone, because she will not. And hear this, Joey. You'll never see Cameron's her name.
Yeah, Cameron.
Shout out to Cameron.
Appreciate
You're
it.
never gonna see Cameron looking for validation in a man. Right. You're never gonna see Cam being a follower. You're never gonna see her out there trying to act like these people on Instagram and all this other stuff. And that, from what I understand, has a lot to do with you and what you did. So salute to you, brother, and keep doing what you're doing. Don't ever feel overbearing, brother, because that's your prized possession. I have a daughter. I know exactly how you speaking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so did Cam get into ball or not? Did she start hooping? Did she be a volleyball player?
I coached her at the Y. I coached her in middle school. She was a starting point guard for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Nice. She had the court awareness. She had it all. But when she got into high school, she just didn't want to do it. And I'm not that dad that's going to make my kid do something they don't want to do. How some parents are like, no, you're going to be like me. Forget that.
Shelly.
Yo, I don't know, man. I heard about some lip sync concerts you be doing with your daughter.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah. We lip sync together, but she gets me on that. I don't let her come on too much because she kills me.
Is it true that you a big LL Cool J fan?
Yeah, we share a birthday. I always say he's the smoothest brother and I'm the smoothest white dude.
Wow. And you love New Edition, don't you?
Yeah. Can you stand the rain?
Who you listening to now?
I like Nas. Nas' new album I like. Busta Rhymes' new album. But my favorite rapper, anybody that knows me, I'm going to let them type it. Someone going to type it right now. Tell them who my favorite rapper is. Somebody got to come up with it.
Where's he from? Can I get a hint?
Yeah, he's from Bed-Stuy. Come on, tell him. Who's my favorite rapper?
Biggie?
Nah,
it's not Biggie.
It's not Biggie.
That was too easy.
Come on, tell him. Who's my favorite rapper?
Anybody in the room know who Joey's favorite rapper is?
All time.
Oh, look at Coco in the room. Salute, Coco.
Come on. How long did it take you to get over a loss, huh? Is that for me?
I bet, it's for you, but I'm sure in 2 seconds. That shit ain't phase you. Big Daddy Kane?
Big Daddy Kane, that's correct.
Big Daddy Kane. All right.
Yes, they're all coming now.
I think he went to Westinghouse, right? Or where did he go?
Big Daddy went to Sarah J. Hale.
Okay.
Downtown Brooklyn, like Westinghouse.
I know Blazers, DJ Blazer, shout out to DJ Blazer. He's real cool with Big Daddy Kane.
Oh, yeah, they're tight. Pause. Yeah. Hale and
so Big Daddy Kane is over.
Yeah.
Rakim, Big Daddy Kane is over.
No.
Yeah, baby.
Yo,
we used to have this argument back in the day.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. So, Joey, Big Daddy Kane's your favorite rapper?
Of all time, yeah.
I knew we got along for a reason, Joe.
Yeah. So in high school, me and Sally, Dennis, Bruno, a whole bunch of us, that James, we all went to school together, and Sally has been known as the Black Cat, the Black Cloud, the fire starter from back then, because he was the troll before trolling was invented.
Facts.
Right? So the biggest argument that we would get into, it was probably the only argument we get into.
No, we had a few arguments.
Yeah, we did. Why are you blowing it up, though? So the biggest argument we used to get into in high school was who would win in a battle, Rakim or Big Daddy Kane? Now, before you say anything, my understanding of Cell's position is Big Daddy Kane had a lot of party records that used to get the crowd and the parties jumping off. And I respect that.
Right.
Well, he could hit you with the lyrics.
No, right. But my argument was that Rakim and his lyrical composition. They were so intricate, and there were double entendres inside of double meanings. Kane couldn't hang with him from that hip hop perspective. So it's a little weird.
Joey, it's 2 against 1. It's a wrap. He ain't got no say here. Big Daddy Kane it is. Let's go.
Yo, let's go to who in the room think no, hold up, Joey. So who wins in a battle?
I'm taking Kane.
Yeah, baby.
You guys are the worst.
You like some of the new stuff? Any new rappers you listening to or anything?
My daughter listens to that junk, but I mean Drake's okay. I listen to some stuff.
Some Drake stuff.
Yeah,
Kendrick.
Huh?
Some Kendrick Lamar. No.
Yeah, that's all right. Some of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because he could kind of like translate to the older stuff.
Right, so. Right. I like where I can understand them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the mumble stuff. Is cool.
Right.
So you don't like the Migos and the G Herbo.
I don't even know who that is. I'm still listening to Keith Sweat, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, man. Salute to the brothers from the fort, James Morales, Dennis Bruno. We see you in the room. I know y'all reminiscing. Coco, he's in the room too. And Joseph Estrella is in the room.
My man Frank Coco, he moved out to Vegas. He's from Williamsburg. Yeah, that's not Coco from Fort. That's a different.
I thought that was.
No, it's a different Coco.
I got them.
Yeah.
Right.
See my man.
Everybody in the room, hit the subscribe, hit the like.
Got a lot of my sheepshead people in here.
Yeah, it's fun.
Where's Omar Mulgrave, man?
Is he in there? I don't know,
man. I don't see Omar Mulgrave in there. You know my man Joey Sadala too? He went to
that's my guy. He played baseball.
Yeah, that's my dude. Joey.
Let's talk about when we played, y'all. Let me tell people this. All right, I got something to say. All right. So my senior year, I already signed with Clarion, and the baseball coach says, Joey, you gonna play this year? Because I never played on the team. I was like, yo, the only way I'm gonna play is if I pitch y'all to the playoffs, you put me on the Wall of Fame. Because they put a wall. I got it for basketball, but I wanted it for baseball. He had dudes on the team for 3-4 years. And I said, I don't care if he's been on the team 3 years.
Brian Church was the real deal.
He was younger than me. Church was my catcher. Yeah, Church was my man. So I said, no matter what, if I get you guys to the playoffs, you put me on the wall. He said, yeah. So they didn't make the playoffs 25 years. It took until I took them to the playoffs when they had Rico Petrocelli, who played for the Red Sox. He went to Sheepshead.
Right.
So I pitched him. We made it to the playoffs. He put me on the wall, and that was a wrap. But when I played you, your team had won the city or state championship.
We won the city, the year before, 89, we won.
89. So we go to Fort Hamilton, okay? I got these my pants. You know how baseball pants fit you tight like leggings?
They were your size, bro. That was the size you wanted them.
Mine were like 3 sizes big. They called me Droopy.
Right.
And I was on the mound. And I beat them 11-1. And there was a chance. But this dude hit a homer off me. Right here. This guy right here. He hit
the only one. The only run.
Huh?
Our only run.
Yeah, the only run. But I was like, because I couldn't pitch the lefties because I didn't throw hard. I threw a lot of garbage, curveballs, and I didn't know how to pitch it. This dude was big as he took me deep. I don't even know if y'all had y'all have a fence.
Right field. Yeah, we had.
I didn't see the ball, so I didn't even know there's a fence. It went so far.
Right field was like 315, but there was another fence like 365. I might have took you out the other fence. No, I'm just kidding.
You might have.
Yo, we lost 11-1, so that don't matter. That don't taste that. That.
Yo, if you haven't learned yet, Selly's super modest. He's such a modest dude. Like
good dude, man.
Yeah, he's very
good dude. He's a hell of a player. I know that.
And modest.
All City, right?
Appreciate it.
Been all city.
Yeah, I was all city. I went to New Mexico.
Yeah.
Played 2 years at a JUCO. Had a great coach, coach for USA Baseball, Mr. Ray Birmingham.
Right.
Coaches at the University of New Mexico now. Shout out to all my guys. Yeah, man, it was a great time. I have, like I said, some of the stuff you went through, I kind of went through the same stuff. Going away and like not getting recruited, but going. I was actually getting recruited. Let me rephrase that. I played with the cadets. I don't know if you remember the cadets.
Yeah, I remember them.
My man Louis Lopez, shout out to Louis Lopez, played in the major leagues.
Ruben
Cardona from Lincoln, my man Julius Alfonso Coco. We had a nice team, and we went to Greensboro, North Carolina, and we put a show on. I got busy. Louis ended up going. So Coastal Carolina started recruiting, us from the team.
Right.
But I ain't have the grades. Most of Louis Lopez had the grades. He ended up doing his thing. He ended up going to Coastal.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, like I said, my boys from Richie Westover,
Yes,
from
my
over there
guy.
by you, from
Yeah, yeah.
West Lincoln. That's my dude. He ended up getting me like, yo, talking to the coach, and they brought me in for that January season, and then I went like a year and a half, and then I went to Texas A&M, Kingsville, Corpus Christi, D2.
Right.
And I went there, and the coach was playing too much with my, oh, you got this, you got that, Then things weren't happening when I got there.
Right.
I gave my man bread for like the apartment,
Uh-huh.
and I just jumped on the bus and came back to New York. Probably the one mulligan in life, like with sports, that I wish I didn't, because I felt like if I stood there, I would have went to the next level. So I'm not saying major leagues, but I think I could have made the minors if I stood there. But it was like you said, no regrets. It happened.
No, that's it. Everything happens, man.
It happens for a reason.
I see a lot of my friends on there. I want to see who's on. I can't see the names. I would love to give some love.
You don't see no names?
Jeff C. Nah, it's not showing me anything. Only when they the comment comes up, I just see Jeff C. That's my man Jeff. Jeff used to run the break for me in my projects. Nasty.
Ooh, okay.
These are my guys. A lot of my guys on there. Eric Schrader. He said, ask him about the JCH.
What's the JCH?
One of them leagues, I would drop like 50 a night over in somewhere. I don't know. I played with him. He ran. I would give him the ball. We'd just play. It was great.
The Jewish Christian house.
Yeah, that's what I was telling. I was like, yo.
JCH was a Jewish league, and then I played at the Shorefront Y over in Brighton, another good league. Reynolds had the PAL, played there. Every
Shorefront Y, that's by Marlboro, right? Is that
Shorefront Y was right by Brighton Beach.
Okay.
Right there.
All right, so let me jump in here. So it seems like we're getting all the great details about these travels and these experiences. So in reviewing some of the history on you, right? I came across a piece where they were talking about retiring your number. But the gentleman that they had speaking in the video, I believe he was a coach, or he's from the school at St. Leo's, and he was just pointing out to all your best attributes. And one of the things I believe he said was that Joey would have topped all of these categories. You see him in number 2 in almost every category.
Right.
And the one thing that he said, I believe, was it was because he wanted his team to win. So he would do a lot more for them than he would for himself. Right.
Right.
When you get the news that they're going to retire your number.
And he also lost a year.
Well, you rubbing it in. How does it feel like when you get that news, like, hey, they're going to retire my number? Like, is that a big deal to you? Is that your moment that you feel like validated? Like, I always knew I could hoop, but having your school, your
put a stamp on it now.
Yeah, like that's a big deal.
The Hall of Fame was big. Going into the Hall of Fame was the biggest thing, and being number 2 in assists, steals. I led the I have the record still for most assists in a game at 16 and most steals in a season. But like you said, it was hard when you played 3 years and the other guy who had the record played 4. If I would have played 8 more games, I was only like 20 assists away from break and this and that. You know what I mean? Right. So just to be in the Hall of Fame and only playing there 3 years was big to me. Right. You know what I mean? I don't know nothing about, numbers being, they never retired a number at that school. So I would never think that they would do that,
Oh, okay. So they just put you in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, just the Hall of Fame. Right.
So
that's it. No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Like regular day. I'm going to ask him the $1 million question. Who is it? Is it MJ or is it LeBron? Who's the GOAT?
Well, you was a Magic and
Magic's my favorite.
Isaiah Thomas, right? Those were your
Magic and Isaiah are my 2 favorite. I wore number 11 because of Isaiah Thomas. He was my favorite.
Okay.
Magic's my favorite. I passed, they nicknamed me, one of my coaches in high school nicknamed me Magic. In 10th grade, he passed away. Rest in peace, Coach Bradley. He was a great guy, gentle giant. He was the assistant. Michael I never liked Michael because he always beat the Knicks when I loved the Knicks. He beat everybody. He beat Magic. He beat everyone. But, you can't take it away from him. He's the most competitive. He's going to bury you when you're down. He has that killer instinct that LeBron will always lack. But the most talented player ever to play the game is LeBron James. He's the best basketball player to ever play the game, the most complete player. But Michael Jordan's the GOAT, if that makes sense.
No,
it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Perfect sense. And it's funny that you say that because
We all feel that way. We feel like
yeah. We're on the same wavelength. The thing about it is that even the first part of what you said about you hated MJ because he always beat your Knicks, that's spoken like a true dude from Brooklyn, from New York. Because when we were growing up, Sully used to love the Knicks, die hard, and
to this day, I'm still.
yeah.
I don't know why, but I'm still there.
But it was worse growing up. Like the heat was crazy.
Yeah.
It was way crazy.
Because they were good. The Knicks were good.
Yeah.
So you know.
Everybody's saying MJ. You got all of them in there. Look at that. LeBron is a bum.
Oh, she called LeBron a bum. That's fine.
He's cool.
I call LeBron the GOAT. GOT. Joey, I call LeBron the GOAT. GOTE, the greatest of this era.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? He's the greatest of this era. People think you're a hater on LeBron. He's on Mount Rushmore. He's a great, but he's not MJ. And this is coming from, like you said, someone that hated him. You know what I'm saying? He killed us.
Right.
But he was a killer, man. He was a killer. There was no, you knew that night, like, oh man, and he had the refs in his pocket too. So he did all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, listen, I'm gonna cut this dude's mic off real quick for selling them stories. So here we are. All right. You get put in the Hall of Fame. You have your daughter. What do you hope for the next future? I should say, not the next 10 or 15. What do you hope for your future from here on out? Like, what are you looking forward to?
When I started the basketball clinic, training the kids, now that my daughter's moved on to the next step in her life, get her degree soon and becoming a teacher is what she wants to do. So my thing is, I want to continue teaching like I do at PE, which I've been doing for 23 years, and just training kids. I trained a kid today, right after school. I mean, I'm hustling, not for me, for the kids.
Right.
Not about the dollar, it's about the kids.
Right.
Like I said, I would go out and play, but there was no one out there in the park. I was playing by myself. I'd play one-on-one full courts. Anybody who's on there will tell you that I was out in the projects one-on-one full courts by myself. I would go down the court and play in my mind. I was like Magic for the layup. Then I'd come down the court, Dr. J with the ball. He passes it to Darryl Dawkins and shoot. And I would just play games to 100. I tell my boys in Florida that. I was like, yo, let's play right now. Even at my age, I'd be like, yo, one-on-one full court. I'm like, what's wrong with you, man? That's how I did it.
That's serious. That is definitely serious. But that's a beautiful thing.
But that's the way you getting the workout in without really getting the work. You know what I mean? You're not like, your mind is not like, oh, I'm running sprints here.
Right. You're doing something you love.
Yeah, you're doing it.
I wasn't that dude to go in the gym and just run on a treadmill.
Right.
You know what I mean? Oh, he's telling me to tell you about the shoes. That's my man Schrader. I don't know if you remember the strength shoes.
Yeah, platform shoes.
They have platforms on them. That was the best investment that my family, my grandmother and sisters made for me. They bought me those going into my junior year. I would go to the Y. I would play outside in them. I would just run in those all day, full courts. Then when I took them off, oh my gosh, I was so fast.
Did you dunk?
No, I was able to hang on the rim, but to get the ball over the rim, that's 4 or 5 inches.
Right.
Couldn't get it over. I was able to hang on it, But
you played in the snow too?
Yeah, I would shovel, man. They'll tell you. Yeah, I would play out there. My grandmother, she would get at nighttime when all the kids my age, 17, 18, they wuld go into there was a club called the Bay Club. They'd be like, Joey's going home to make love to his basketball. And I was like, all right, I'm going to keep doing that. I'm going to be out of here soon, I promise.
That's it.
There was a lot of talent in my projects, but
I was the most dedicated.
I was the one that took it. And not saying that I was the best or better than them, but I had the work ethic. And I had to drive that, I'm getting out and this game is going to take me far.
Joe, I always say I worked out harder probably after school and after I grew up as an adult where, like you said, with the baseball, I took it for granted almost that, the talent I had, like I could just come on the field and this, I ain't looking to, running and lifting weights because I felt like, my talent speaks for itself. And that was the wrong attitude because there's a lot of talented people out there. But who works harder is the one that usually makes it. You know what I mean?
That's usually the thing, Shelly. You see, the thing about it is that you had people that were cultivating talent. And if you don't have somebody that's nurturing and cultivating your talent, that's when it could fall by the wayside. Like, I think a lot of people misunderstand that the raw talent is there. It's a beautiful thing, but it's only going to go so far, like you're saying, unless you're sharpening the blade constantly, like your man here shoveling snow and playing one-on-one full course. Who
That's
the fuck
dedication.
does that?
Yeah, I used to play with. There was a guy, a real good mentor of mine. I want to show him some love. His name's Mike Harris.
Shout out to Mike Harris.
Mike Harris was a state trooper. Lived in my projects. He came to my Hall of Fame induction.
Mm-hmm.
And me and him, he would come home from work, and I would wait for him because a lot of the kids weren't out there playing. So when he would come home from work, he would put on his sweats and he would come out and he would say, "I'm about to bust your tail," because he would never curse to me because I was so younger, and he was very respectful. And he said, "I'm ready to give it to you." And he would say that. And everything he did, I learned from that. And when I'm playing my kids in class, I'm saying the same things to them now.
Right.
I call him, I'm like, "Yo, Mike, I just told him I'm going to serve him."
Nowadays, they're like, "Mommy, he said he's going to bust my tail."
You're fired for that.
It's different now, kid. Oh, man. It's cancel culture out here, man.
Right?
They ain't trying to have it.
Right? I'm on Fox News.
Don't he say he's going to bust my tail?
Right?
What?
Hey, Kerry, I love you, sister Kerry.
People, if you're just joining us, I'm your host, Mr. A, my partner, Mr. Selly Sassong, and we're talking to the Mr. Man Handles, the Magic Man, the Mr. Shake You and Bake You, Joey Brauer from Sheepshead Bay, St. Leo's legend. And he's just putting us on to the most important thing about becoming passionate when it comes to sports or the career you're pursuing. And
life.
That is, in life, your work ethic. Whatever work you expend and try to sharpen your skills and be the best at what you're doing is what you're going to get out of it for the most part. And it seems to me that Joey's work ethic was serious because I can't say I know anybody that plays one-on-one full court. That just doesn't happen. Like, it's unheard of. But that's some serious dedication, brother.
And just going back to giving back and just talking and making sure the youth understand that you just got to work hard in everything. Being undersized and losing my parents and growing up in the projects, and not saying our projects wasn't bad. Our projects the greatest. I mean, we had every race, every ethnicity. We had it all. You know how it is. Yeah. In our 4 blocks, you had everything from Russian to Chinese to black to white to Hispanic. We had it all.
Right.
And nobody looked at color.
Nobody.
Nobody. Now, around us, you had certain areas that you go in there, if you're white or black, there's going to be some issues. And that's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I would never change or trade my childhood for anything. It made me who I am today. Some people lose focus of that. And I see it on social media, and I really don't like it. I wish everyone just had that love still. But that's the one bad thing about social media, that you get a lot of bullies behind this computer, and they could say this or say that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So that's the only bad. But everybody else, man, he said he wants to tell a story about me. My man Kennard, he said he was on. Let's see, can you see Kennard? Ken McFadden?
I'm looking for them all. Ken McFadden's right here.
What'd he say? Wish I could tell a few stories about Magic. Spit it out, man.
It seems like, you know what? I'm glad everybody's here. Sorry for stuttering, but I'm glad everybody's here. I'm glad everybody's supporting, and I really want to say I appreciate Joey for coming on. But even more so, I want to appreciate everybody that's tuning in right now. And I don't want to blow this guy's head up, but I think right now this is one of the largest audiences that the set has had to date. I mean, it's flooded. It's definitely flooded, and I want to say salute to everybody that's showing up.
Thank you all for the support. Hit that subscribe, please. Hit them likes. We hoping you're having a good time with us.
Yeah, but most importantly, Joey, man, your story, your life, you as a person. I think the one thing I kept telling Selly about you was that I really appreciate your energy, and I think that. People like that, you need them around you. I like to gravitate to people that have that good sort of energy about them. I don't get this understanding that you're like, you're one of those negative Nellies in life, right? And with all that you've gone through, it seems like you turned out like an all right person. You're not, You're not full
You
of
had
yourself, rub
you
out.
had an easy opportunity to turn a different direction.
Exactly.
You know, with what you've been dealt with in life, but we've all had, you know, that's life. You know, even now, what people are going through with the pandemic, like what have you learned from like with this now, like being, you know, COVID and pandemic, being home, like what have you learned from this,
The COVID's
like this whole
I mean,
situation?
the COVID's been crazy. I mean, I haven't opened up about it, you know, but I've had, you know, my daughter had it. My
Okay.
daughter had the COVID
Wow.
at college.
Mhm.
And 7 weeks without tasting or smelling,
Wow.
and sick, really sick, and she don't have any health issues. So what I would say is, yo, this is real. I have a buddy right now that has it, who, you know, who's pretty close to me in the area. And he's a healthy guy. And he says if he moves too much, he's having trouble breathing. And that's just moving around. That's not even running or anything. So,
Okay.
you know, just be safe. I mean, Florida here, we're a little bit more open than you guys.
No,
So
for
you
sure.
gotta be a little bit more extra careful. I'm at school, I'm working with the kids. You know, I take precaution. I train kids, I take precaution. But, you know, we just gotta pray and hope that we get through this. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we can do at this point, right?
That's it.
It's a little
And we got to keep pushing forward. You
That's
know,
it. We
like
gotta live.
you know, like you've done your whole life. We got to keep pushing forward, man.
Yeah, we can't shut down. We gotta keep moving. Keep it moving.
I appreciate the fact that you're also enjoying the sun. You're down in Florida where you got all that beautiful weather, and we're up here freezing. But
Yeah, I
we're
saw
doing-
Kelly make a video the other day saying that the Florida people, but hey, it was 38 this morning, Sal.
Yo, y'all gotta stop, please. Miss me with that Florida. Oh, I gotta wear a hoodie. It's 60 degrees.
I gotta
Yo,
wear-
y'all forgot what is cold. Y'all forgot what's cold. We
Yo,
talking and the smoke coming out your mouth.
The cold hits different here. I'm telling you.
Oh my
Y'all
God.
just used to that
I'm
warm.
telling you, it's a different cold here.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, I got frost on my car. What am I gonna do?
Yeah, it's a different cold. You know what it is? Not cold at all. That's the difference. You think it's cold. It's not cold at all. Like, come on, cut it out. These guys. So, Joey, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm sure that my partner, Sally, will tell you the same thing, how, you know, we appreciate you coming on.
Definitely.
I also want to let you know that just like all our other past guests, we leave an open invitation to return to the show, to promote, to, you know, bring something to light about what you're doing, any changes or things of that nature that you feel like you want to share with the audience. You have an open invitation. You could reach out to me or Sally, and we'll set it up and we'll have you back on the set, because we like to keep the relationship, one, and two, we want people that come on here and connect, right? You're not some jock who, you know, played ball and you know, dropped a bunch of buckets and was, you know, had all these accolades, and you lost your empathy and humanity. It seems that that's the one thing that I find most appealing about your character. You're just a regular dude, right?
That's it.
And to our audience, that's all we're here to do. Me and Sally are going to be working very, very diligently over the next couple of months to bring the best content that we can, which means what, Sal? We're going to be bringing real people, right? Telling
Definitely.
real stories.
Real people, real stories. You know, if we can make somebody smile right now, you know, and educate people during these times, you know, that's a win, man. You know,
Yeah, sharing information is the most important thing about what we're trying to do here. So if anybody at some point has a suggestion, or maybe somebody you want to see, listen, drop us a message. We'll be more than glad to investigate it and try to follow up. But just know that this month we have a bunch of guests coming on, and next month we're going to be doing women's empowerment. We're looking about having a financial advisor. You know, Sally's been working on getting 2 health practitioners to come to speak to us about proper health,
vaccines and all the stuff.
all of that, and staying healthy and protecting ourselves. So with that said, Joey, again, the set, you're a part of this home, you're part of this family. So, you know, if you're doing something, you know, whatever, if Cam is making a big move, I want an exclusive. Me and my brother need that exclusive, because if she's doing something, we want to bring her on the show, and we want to have you back as well. So just understand that, you know, The door's always open. All right.
Fellas, it was beautiful, beautiful thing, man.
Thank you, Joey.
Thank
Shout out
you.
your people, brother. Shout them out.
Let me see them all. Sheepshead Bay. Thank you for showing up. Much love to everybody. Brian Hoffler. Andre, what's up? Who else? Let's see them all. D. Brown, my man. Shapiro, what's up? My man B. Fats. All day, Dow Brown. All day.
Wow.
Hit the subscribe, y'all. YouTube, IG, Facebook, the set 6145. Hit that like button, man. We thank you for the support. Hopefully, we keep this thing rocking, man. Everybody have a safe holiday. New Year's coming. And, Joey, man, like my Mr. A said, this is an open invitation.
Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. So
thanks for having me.
We're gonna tuck you in the queue. And we're gonna speak behind the scenes, all right? So just sit tight. People, man, incredible, incredible story.
Yeah, man.
Right?
No, definitely.
Solid brother. I'm really glad this all worked out. I'm really glad that the people, and they showed, he wasn't playing. These people are showing out.
Showed the love.
Oh, look at Morales.
Jimmy, beefsteak, what's good, brother?
Nah, not B. He's Abuelo now.
Oh,
Salute to you. Congratulations.
Bendición.
Yeah, bendición. Mr. James Morales, congratulations on your new grandchild, man. Nothing but love. You know what it is. And everybody else watching the show. Sel, I think you got something you want to communicate with the people?
Whenever you're ready, let's do it.
I'm ready now. We're gonna let it fly. Let's go. All right, people. So this is a segment that my man came up with that we like to call the Gucci Frito. And the one thing you don't want to do, what do they don't want to do, Sel?
You don't want to be on the Gucci Frito list.
No, they don't. So in that spirit, we got to add a little music. So Sel, let the people know what's going on right now, kid.
So the Gucci Frito, I hate to do this, especially having such a great show. And, a great story, my man, Joey Brauer. But the Gucci Frito, we're going to do this every show.
Yes, sir.
And tonight we're going to start with frenemies.
Ooh, frenemies.
Yeah, frenemies. I know there's plenty of podcasts out there. And, I know we probably hearing the backdoor talk of, these guys are doing a podcast and, the negative Nellies. I'm not in competition with anyone. Mr. A is not in competition with anyone. We're in competition with ourselves. If we can educate one person, like I said, if we can make somebody come here and laugh, going through, everything that we're going through right now with anxiety and depression and, just being home, not knowing what the next move, the next money's coming from, then we won. We won. This platform is therapeutic, not only for us, but for those that choose to listen, So, if we learn something new, then that's a successful show. That's how I feel. And, when you talk about frenemies, those are some of the worst because they act like they're cool with you. But when it's time to show support or show love, they don't want to do it. They feel like, I don't want to see him win, maybe. Like I said, we won, baby. We won already. We in comps with ourselves. And y'all got to see, we ask you to subscribe. We ask for the likes. That costs you nothing but time. And we appreciate those that have showed love and continue to do so. We'll always be here for them. Peace.
You heard it here first, people. So just understand something that, like you said, we're in competition with nobody but ourselves. And all we want to do is keep bringing you people the best content that we can, keep pushing forward and share information. And again, maybe we'll have some fun and laugh about shit along the way. And, it'll take your mind off all the negative shit.
We're not here to change the world, but if we can inspire or aspire someone to change the world, then we won. We're doing that's what we came here to do. So
Salute to my man coming on the show the first time, breaking the ice, Mr. Selly Sasson, Sunset Park Zone. Salute to everybody from Brooklyn that showed up and showed out. You know, I see everybody in the room. You know, salute to my guy who just went in. He was in a car accident. My man Calvin. I see you, brother.
Feel better, Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin Kearns, all the way from BK. He down in Florida, man. But I'm glad you safe, brother. Salute to Miss Morales. I see you watching us. And big sister Millie holding it down. Our brother Joey. All our Sunset Park people, man.
My sofrito.
Yeah, where's the sofrito at? Yo, we love you. Big up. You know, we'll see you next week, if anything. All right?